Here.
Everybody,
Okay.
everybody good? Ready?
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Gwen Harshaw, and this is the Spin with Gwen. And I am so happy to be here. It's been a minute. Our last broadcast was way back in 2019, and I am truly thrilled to be back on the air with you. I want to send a heartfelt thank you to Mike Fair for opening the door and inviting me to co-host on Up Front with Michael Fair as I found my way back to the mic. I'm also deeply grateful to my sponsor, ICDL, the International Council on Development and Learning. ICDL and their DIR floor time model continue to lead the way with relationship-centered approach that helps individuals on the autism spectrum and others with neurodevelopmental differences grow, connect, and flourish. Find out more information about ICDL at www.icdl.com. They have resources for parents and professionals. I'm also grateful to all of you for listening. Whether you're joining us at 1580 AM, The Praise, or 98.5 WSAX FM, or online, we're glad you're here. And it feels so good to be home again. So now we're back in the groove, and I'm so excited to jump in today's conversation. Joining me is someone who has been a powerful voice for self-determination and disability advocacy across Ohio, Dana Charlton. Welcome, Dana.
Thank you, Gwen. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. And Dana is the Executive Director of the Ohio Self-Determination Association, or OSDA. She's here to talk about OSDA's mission and the annual Synergy Conference, a gathering that brings people together to learn, connect, and celebrate what true self-determination looks like in action. So, tell me a little bit about yourself and Synergy, if you don't mind, Dana.
Oh, all righty. Well, let me start by saying that the mission or vision of OSDA is to change systems so that people with disabilities and families have greater choice and control over their lives and the services that they get. Real quick about me, I joined the field in 1973 with a degree in art education K through 12. Knew almost nothing about the disability field, but took some courses at Ohio State and ended up with a master's in special ed. So I worked for the Department of GD for about 34 years. Was a director of nursing for a couple of years after that, and then joined OSDA in 2010.
Wow.
Been with them ever since, and it's the best job I've ever had.
That is so good to hear. And I can say, as a parent of a child with a disability, it just warms my heart to know there are people like you out there working to support all of us, and we really appreciate it. So, for people who've never heard of Synergy, how would you describe what makes the conference such a powerful experience for families, professionals, and self-advocates?
I think it's probably one of the only conferences in Ohio, and one of very few nationally, where the planning is all about very intentional inclusion. Every session, every fun activity is planned and designed so that everyone is accepted, everyone is respected, and everyone is included. I like to use the word level playing field in every aspect of the conference. So over the course of 3 days, I think people with disabilities, family members, and professionals experience something that they do not have the opportunity to experience anywhere else. And you do have to experience it. I know if you look on our website, one of our planning committee members, Jean Stuntz, has a little video, and she says something very similar to that. Intentional inclusion.
So important.
It is.
And when is Synergy occurring this year?
This year, registration opens at noon on Wednesday, September 30th. We're at Kalahari Conference Center up in Sandusky, Ohio, and the sessions start at 2 o'clock. This year, our first day is a little bit different. We are doing something called the Synergy Exchange. We don't know how successful it'll be, but people love to have their voices heard, and those who work in the field need to hear those voices. So we decided to try to do this Synergy Exchange in order to create an opportunity for that to happen. So the Department of Developmental Disabilities will have staff there, and they are hosting 2 listening sessions during the exchange. We'll have professional vendors there, and we have something called the Synergy Marketplace. And the Synergy Marketplace is free for anyone with a disability who has their own business or sells their own products or does their own entertaining that they want to promote. So, and it's just an opportunity for them to put forth and share the talents that they have, which is great. This year we're also, during the Synergy Exchange, going to have a session called Meet the Candidate, I think, something like that, or Meet Your Policymaker. And we are reaching out to legislators, especially those who participate in something called the DD Caucus. And we just want to see how many legislative people or folks running for office will come and take advantage of an opportunity to hear from people who work in the field about the challenges they face, the concerns they have, to hear from families and to hear from people with disabilities.
Incredible. I love the one phrase that a number of people use to describe Synergy or what the theme is, and it's conversation is the currency. Mm-hmm. And I love that. They're all about conversation, connection, inclusion, intentional inclusion. I do want to go back to the date. It's going to be on Wednesday, September 30th through Friday, October 2nd.
That is correct.
And it's also at Kalahari, which is this amazing indoor swim resort. I mean, they actually have an outdoor, but this time of year it's going to be indoor. It's massive, and it is an actual resort. There is so much to do, so many fun things.
Yes.
They have the arcade, they have wonderful restaurants, they have a lot of activities, but Synergy itself, we have amazing keynote speakers. Mm-hmm. We have all these different sessions, and we cover any topic you could possibly think of.
That is true.
And
Very true.
And it's a blast. You meet other people, and I remember the first time we went, we were just blown away by how amazing it is, and it's a lot of fun, but it's also informative.
Yes.
And just thinking about that, Synergy brings together so many voices across the disability community. What do you think is the secret sauce that makes this conference feel different from other traditional professional trainings and conferences?
Well, I think my answer is almost the same as it was to your first big question.
Yeah.
It's the intentional inclusion.
Yes.
It's the equality, the level playing field that we strive so hard to create. I think people feel comfortable. They literally develop better relationships with people that they work with, people they have on their caseloads. And I think they just walk away having experienced something that is new and different.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's even a dance, usually on
is.
Thursday evening with a DJ, and people have a ball. You can tell talking to people. There are some individuals who wait all year for that because it's so much fun. And like I said, it's at Kalahari, so it creates the exact balance Synergy is built on: inclusion, intentional inclusion, and fun.
Right.
And can you tell me a little bit about the speakers, real quickly, that we're going to have?
Sure. Well, a couple of keynotes. One that I'm very excited about is a woman who's going to close the conference with a keynote. Her name is Dr. Josie Badger. And we don't have a lot about her background on the Synergy website, but she was born with a pretty significant disability. She has her own consulting firm. She has a bachelor's degree from Geneva College in disability law, a master's from the University of Pittsburgh in rehab counseling, and a doctorate from Duquesne University in healthcare ethics. She is the National Transition Director for SPAN, which is the statewide parent advocacy network. And she works with a component of SPAN called RAISE, which provides information and technical assistance to parents and families of people with disabilities. I think her session is going to be very informative, very heartwarming, and pretty amazing at the accomplishments that she has made. Even if she didn't have a disability,
Right.
It would be amazing.
But it's so important to have those examples of what people can accomplish.
Absolutely.
And to offset the unfortunate sometimes negativity that people hear when
Right.
you have a disability.
Right.
So I love that. She's a nationally recognized disability advocate and a consultant. And I said I see where it supports synergies, valuing of intentional inclusion. And some of the bullet points for that are listening to understand, sharing spaces, equal voices, and respecting differences. So I'm really excited. And then the other keynote is Kristen Zeman. Am I correct?
That is, I think that's the way you pronounce it.
And she is a recognized keynote speaker. So she's a leadership strategist and a former chief of police for Aurora, Illinois,
That is correct.
one of the largest police departments in the state. And it says, as the first female chief in Aurora's history, she led the department through significant cultural and organizational transformation, navigating high-stakes challenges with clarity, accountability, and courage. And her keynote message usually reinforces ideas about thinking deeply, acting courageously, and being able to act and respond differently.
Right.
So along with these powerhouse keynote speakers, there are many sessions,
There are.
and we want people with disabilities to be included. They are. Some of them are the presenters, and I honestly, I've never heard of a conference or a gathering quite like Synergy. I mean, it is so all-inclusive, and some of that inclusivity includes fun, and I think that's so important.
Wednesday evening, we're going to have karaoke,
Yes.
which will be fun. Thursday evening, the dance that you spoke about, we call it the glow dance because everyone gets these things that light up that you can carry or wear on your wrist. So there's lots of good fun there as well. And the food is delicious.
Yes, it is. So it is just a wonderful time. I know our whole family is gone. And of course, we initially went to support Zane, but we had a ball. And the hotel is beautiful, and the rooms are. But you can combine it with basically a vacation.
Absolutely.
Where you're
Many people come the day before because they say there isn't enough time during the 3 days of the conference to really enjoy the water park and Kalahari. In my opinion, the conference center itself is kind of like an art gallery with all of the original art and then things that they have created to promote this African village theme, which is just amazing. And I can't say enough about the conference staff at Kalahari
right.
and how they've changed to accommodate. They have a sincere desire to serve and to support. They've added adult changing tables with lifts. They help us schedule their limited roll-in shower rooms so people who need one but can't get one have an opportunity to shower. Their chef is now meeting individually with people who require special diets so that they know exactly what they need to do, and they've changed the way they serve the special diets to folks. And it not only increases quality, but it shows respect.
Absolutely.
Respect for people who have different needs.
Right. And it just shows how we want everyone to be welcome.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
everyone to have an option to come. It's for everyone who's connected to this disability world. But it's so much fun. I mean, I can't describe how big the water park is. It's an indoor water park. It's amazing, but like you just mentioned, they also have restaurants and great food, entertainment, shops, arcade, and obviously the convention center, all under one roof. You don't have to leave.
That's right.
And you can have a world to just have fun and learn. What are some examples of some of the sessions we've had previously or upcoming, just to give an idea of the wide range of topics that get covered at Synergy?
Well, some of the breakout room sessions include a focus on technology, different kinds of assistive technology, a couple of sessions on AI and how AI can help support people with disabilities. Several sessions around self-determination, what it is, what's an informed decision, planning with people with disabilities and their families instead of planning for them. And then there are some more technical, rule-based sessions. There's one about the HR committee, the human rights committees that county boards are required to have to review any kind of restrictive behavior plan that someone might need to have, and make sure again that it's absolutely necessary and there is a positive outcome that folks are looking for.
Wow, that's amazing. I just want to remind everyone that you are listening to 98.5 FM WSAX and WVKO 1580 AM, and you are listening to the Spin with Gwen. I am so grateful to be here talking with Dana Charlton from OSDA, and we're talking about the Synergy Conference that's coming up the end of September. And it's just an amazing event, and it covers so many things. Can you share maybe one of your personal favorite sessions or events? Oh, let me back up.
Okay.
Let me back up. How long has Synergy been going on for?
Well, I'm not even sure the exact year, but I think it was 2013.
Wow.
When OSDA and another nonprofit organization called PAR decided to join forces and put on a single conference instead of sort of competing with each other. We had a lot of support from the Ohio Developmental Disabilities Council, and over the years we have evolved to where we now have 4 partners that host the conference. So PAR and OSDA were joined by Lighthouse Cove, which used to be the Ohio Alliance for Direct Support Professionals, and People First of Ohio. We get a ton of support through Gene Stuntz, who owns Dynamic Pathways Incorporated, which is a great consulting business that does lots of training. So 2013, 2026,
Wow.
sounds like what?
13
years to me.
That's a pretty good run.
Pretty good.
I'm impressed.
And we've grown. I mean, we used to do this in Columbus, but once we hit 500 attendees, we had to look for a bigger site that was reasonably inexpensive. We ended up at Kalahari, and for the last 3 years, we have exceeded 850 people, almost 1,000 in a couple of those years.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of people and a lot of people there to learn and have fun and meet others. And the title Synergy is perfect. And let me tell you personally what I just love hearing about all these different organizations who ostensibly have the same goal to support people with disabilities and create opportunities working together. Because I'm not going to throw too much shade, but in a lot of cases, I'm not talking about anybody specifically here in Ohio, but in a lot of places, they're, like you said, competing, and it's just so sad. We get so much more done when we combine our resources, and I just think that was genius on you guys' part to even create that. And you might not even known at the time, back in 2011 or 12, what it would look like, but look this 13 years later, and it is just an amazing event. I was absolutely blown away. The first time I went was 2019. And
Okay.
we were like, wow. And it's just, and like I said, families can come. And even if they're siblings of the person with the disability,
Absolutely,
and
yes.
have a ball and learn and enjoy the water park. And I just want more people to know about it.
And recently, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce has begun to participate in Synergy in a really big way. Charting the Life course is a big effort of theirs. They run it through the Nisanger Center. The Nisanger Center has lots of family members who are part of the parent-to-parent program. They are also Charting the Life course ambassadors, and I would say, I don't know, 50 to 100 of those folks have started attending Synergy, which is wonderful because it shifts the focus towards youth and young adults. And I think families of those folks are facing, this change. What's going to happen when my adult child is no longer part of the educational system? So they are learning. There is a resource. There's a place to learn and connect. And to get support.
Right. And again, I can speak as a parent of a child with a disability. That's a terrifying prospect when your child leaves high school, secondary education, and it's such a needed support for that. And that is so helpful. And you will not know how much you will learn and how many people you will connect with at Synergy. It's just such a welcoming place. It's such a warm place. It's fun, and that just creates such connections. I mean, you will have directors or superintendents from boards of developmental disabilities from around the state. You will have family members. You will have individuals or self-advocates with disabilities. I can't think of another environment that you will be able to meet those many people, those many layers throughout our community.
Right.
So it's wonderful. So back to the question I was beginning to ask, can you list some of the topics that have been because it's hard to describe how broad and wide-ranging Synergy really is.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have some examples of different topics that have been covered?
I'm not sure. Yes. I know in the past we have had folks who work in the mental health system who come and talk about mental health services and trends, changes in that system. We have had some technical sessions where, let's say, people who perform some of the support functions as part of the Department of DD system. GT Independence, for example, is under contract to function as the fiscal intermediary for independent providers who provide waiver services. They have come and talked. We've had people from local JFS offices there to kind of talk about what we do and how we can help you with your benefits.
Job and family
Job and family services.
So
correct.
important.
Yes. The issue of the police force and how sometimes people with disabilities can get in, not necessarily in trouble with the law, but they might, get stopped for a traffic violation or something like that, and maybe they have autism and they act different. So there's some educational sessions there where people share some of the efforts that they have undertaken in order to educate local police. There are sessions about changing laws and changing rules. There are fun sessions. We've had jugglers who come and they entertain the attendees while at the same time sending a message of some sort.
Right.
About the challenge of, trying to undertake something that kind of looks almost impossible to many of us.
Right.
I mean, it's there.
It's so wide-ranging. I mean, I know I've seen some where they just talk about relationship building.
Yes.
And even an intimate relationship and things you need to learn
Yes.
to delve into that aspect of your social life. And one of my favorites is when actual self-advocates who are individuals with disabilities get up and tell their story. And it just makes it so easy to meet others and connect. And I know many relationships have been born out of that, where people, friendships that they keep in touch. And it's just, and that's not something that's often talked about, but that's huge in our community. It's huge in the society as a whole. We have a loneliness epidemic anyway.
Absolutely.
And it's even worse among the disability community. And just having the opportunity in a relaxed, safe environment to connect with other people, to talk about yourself, to hear other stories, to see people speaking who have accomplished so much, to be inspired. It is just an incredible experience, and you can tell I'm a fan.
Thank you. Yes, I would say that lots of the focus is on helping people with disabilities and their family members gain the confidence to find their voice and speak up.
Wow.
Because if they don't, there's kind of this passive acceptance of you get what they give rather than speaking up and asking for what you need.
Absolutely. So important. Do you have any ideas about topics or sessions this year or possibly in the past that have had some of the biggest impacts on attendees?
I think one of the keynote speakers in the past, she and I shared the first name, Dana. Her name was Dana Bowles, and she was born with basically no legs and no arms. One of the Little Mine babies, I think it was called. Dana works for NASA. She has a degree in engineering. She's their public sports spokesperson. And she came and told her story.
Wow.
She one of her funny stories which touched me was when she was being interviewed, the person interviewing her at NASA in Florida knew that she had a disability, and so he offered to pay the cost of her bringing a friend. And she accepted, and she said, but when we get there, we need an accessible van with hand controls. And the guy said, well, I thought your friend could drive the van. And she said, well, she could, but she's blind.
That is an amazing story, and thank you so much for sharing all of this with Dana.
Thank you for asking me to be
I want
here.
people to know where they can find out more information
Yes.
about Synergy, and the website is synergyohio.org.
Correct.
And I want to thank all of you for listening to the Spin with Gwen on 98.5 FM WSAX. And I also want to remind you about ICDL, who sponsors this show, the International Council on Development and Learning. You can find out more information about them at www.icdl.com. And like I said, they have resources for parents and professionals. Thank you again, and have a wonderful week, everyone.
Thank you, Gwen.
Thank you.